Hey guys, Reggie here with TricLED. We're at the shop today with our Canyon, and today we are installing brake flashers on our Redrock. And so we've got our plug-and-play brake flashers, but while we are also back there, we are going to replace the reflectors that are back here that are just static, and we're going to replace it with an exact piece. And the piece that we're going to replace it with is a lighted running light, brake light. And since we're going to make these a flasher, these are also going to act as a flasher when you step on your brakes. So the process is actually going to be pretty easy. There's a few things that we've got to remove, and one of them is this panel that's above the rear tire. We're going to remove this top case, both the side cases, just so that it's easier to get to the screws underneath. We're going to remove the driver's seat and the passenger seat. And the tools that you're going to need is a Torx 25, Torx 15, and a push pin remover. So to start, we're just going to twist the key, push, twist to the right to release the driver's seat here. So let's go ahead and get that started. So I've twisted and pushed the key, and I've got the seat released, and I'm just gonna pull that up, set that seat to the side, and you got your battery tray cover here, and I'm just gonna pull this to the side, and you're going to see this harness here. This particular harness actually goes for the heated hand grips for your passenger. So you want to go ahead and just unclip this and just remove it. And prior to removing this backrest on this particular Redrock model, you can just pull on this, which you'll see here is just like a push pin that goes on that. Just set that aside, and then you can just pull up on the seats. Which now shows you this bottom plate, which you'll be able to lift up once you remove this top case. So with your key, you're gonna go ahead and unlock this, open the top. Once you've got that unlocked, you're gonna pull this down, and you'll be able to just lift right up, and this top case you'll be able to just pick up and remove. So once I've removed the top case, this metal plate here, you'll be able to just actually pick up and remove. And this will allow you to see the cavity down underneath. You can actually see the tail light, but it'll be really tight to get down there. So you'll want to remove this cover that's right above the rear tire. So as you can see here, this is the air ride for the rear suspension. So we'll go ahead and get this removed. But before we do that, I've gone ahead and removed this side case from the left side, and I'm gonna go ahead and remove the side case from this side. So with this same thing, you'll need your key. Open it up, insert, twist, open, and you'll release that. Twist and lock. You're gonna lift and pull. So you'll see there's the two holes that goes into, and it slides onto that. And it just simply slides off. So once we get here, I just like to Let's get these guys out of the way so you can get these brackets up and out. Makes it nice and clean and easy. So to remove this, what I've done is I've kind of loosened up these screws a little bit, but there'll be 2 screws up in the very front here, and these are the Torx 25. These 2 you're going to remove. And then you've got 2 push pins here that I've loosened up. So you're going to remove these 2 push pins. 2 push pins on this side. And then there's 3 plastic screws towards the rear. 1, 2, and 3. And these are the Torx 15. These are just the plastic screws. So once you remove that, this whole panel will be able to come down and you'll be able to access the harness for the tail light. So let's go ahead and get this removed, Will. All right, guys, so I've gone ahead and removed all the bolts and the push pins. And the best thing to do is, what I've done is I've just pried this section with my push pin remover. And you'll be able to just kind of pull this panel down. And this will go ahead and just come right out. So what's great about this is that now you'll be able to see everything pretty nice and clear from the top. And you'll be able to see and access the tail lights pretty easily from back here. All right, guys, so here's the back area again. And as you can see, it is marked right for the tail light. And on this side, it's also marked left. It's pretty hard to see, but on this side you can clearly see it. So what you'll want to do is just kind of reach up there and just kind of disconnect it. Got it right here. And we're just going to take our harness. All right, guys, so since we are installing the center oval here on the back, on the other side of this, so we've got this pigtail that's kind of like the splitter that we're going to plug into. I recommend plugging in this splitter on the right side, because on this left side you've got this cross member, which is going to be a little bit difficult to plug in when you've got this splitter here. So I recommend plugging in this junction on the right side if you're installing that oval. So let's go ahead and get this inserted up on this right side tail light. And let's get this up there and installed. Get that pushed up there. Tight quarters. There we go. Now it's clicked up there. And the other side of this, we will plug it in to our flasher, which we've got it plugged in right here to our right harness flasher, and then back to our splitter here that we just installed. And so off of this splitter is this connector, and this connector here we're plug in to the oval light that we're going to install just on the other side of this plastic piece, which is this particular light right here. So let's go ahead and get this all plugged in, and then we'll be able to take off that reflector, drill a little tiny hole there, and then we'll be able to stick that on, and we'll continue on with our install. All right, guys, here's our reflector. It's gonna come off pretty easy because And this was recently installed in the factory, so just kind of pried it up there with our pry tool, and it just came off pretty easily. So we're just gonna set that aside for now, get this cleaned up, and we're just gonna drill a little hole here through the center to get enough for our plug to go through, and we'll get that plugged in on the back. And you know, this side, the brake flasher, it's gonna be pretty much the same as the other side. And we're just gonna disconnect, plug in our flasher, plug it back to our tail light, and that's pretty much as far as the install. And then we can go ahead and put everything back. But let's go ahead and get that hole drilled, get the wire through, and get everything plugged back in. All right guys, we're back in the center here, and I've got my cone drill. And just down in the center, we're gonna go ahead and get that drilled out. Go ahead and drill that hole just big enough for the connector to be able to go through. And once you're done doing that, make sure you clean the surface really good here with the provided alcohol and the primer that comes in your kit. Get that cleaned up real good, and we're gonna go ahead and get that reflector put on there real quick. All right guys, we've got this thing alcoholed and primered, and we're gonna go ahead and get our connector here, feed this thing through. All right, now that we've got our wire through the back here, I'm just gonna go ahead and make the connection right to our harness splitter. I've gone ahead and put dielectric grease, so make sure that you guys do that. And let's go ahead and just plug it in, make the connection. Simple as that. And now that we've done that, I'm gonna go ahead and get the left side brake flasher plugged in to the tail light, and we can go ahead and get this thing tested up. Got that plugged in on the left side. It's really tight up there, so that's your brake flasher, and you're just going to plug the left side harness back in. That's it, and we're just gonna get these wires tucked away neatly and zip them all up and out of the way back here, so we can go ahead and get this all closed up. So mind you that there's probably a couple of more things that you can put back here, so the process will be the same to open anything. If you want to connect to the rear tail light, such as a USA flag or the plate lights that says Spider or Canyon on the back, the process will be the same. Being that your license plate, you know, tag will be right behind this plate. You can see this little kind of triangle section back here. You'll probably drill through that if you're going to put a USA flag through here, and you're going to connect it to one of these harnesses. You'll get a pigtail that'll come off this harness, so you'll just connect, you know, 12 volts. So everything is pretty easy and accessible, you know, from back here. And like I said, this is probably one of the easiest bikes to access, where you don't have to open a ton of stuff back here. So 3 plastic screws, 4 push pins, and 2 Torx 25 towards the front, and that'll get you access to underneath this panel that opens up pretty easily, and that gets you access to all these things back here. So let's go ahead and get this thing tested. Your run light, brake flasher, it's completely stock. And since I'm back here, I'm gonna go ahead and install our USA flag. And our new USA flag is encased in this smoke tube. So out with the previous generation, and we've injection molded this really nice smoke black, and now has this really nice frame, not just the bent frame, but it actually has a, you know, a really nice sturdy shape to it. So super simple to install. Just mounts up to your license plate, and this triangle on the back of the Canyon, if you actually just drill right here in the center, get your plug through, your license plate would actually just go right over it. So when you've got this through the back, so I still have the entire back open, and if you watch from the previous video, you'll see how to remove all of this. But once all of this is open, it's pretty easy to access and to be able to do all of this. So while I had everything open, I went ahead and just go ahead and installed everything. So when you're installing the flag, all your hardware is there, and you know, and the wire run is really short. So you're gonna get a special adapter that's going to run a 2-pin to a connector that we've specially made, and it's just gonna grab your power and ground. It's gonna have a 1-to-2 splitter, and what I'm doing here is because I've got this additional oval that's running up here, so it's running off of a 1-to-2 splitter. One side is going straight to the flag, the other side is running to the harness on the tail light, and the other end is actually running to the oval light. So pretty simple, just running off of one side, and once it's connected, one side to the flag, one side to the tail light on the right side, and the other side is actually your running and your brake. And we got our flasher here. So actually pretty simple. They could only plug in one way. So let me turn on the key so you guys can actually see everything being lit up here all at the same time. So you got your running lights, and the beautiful USA flag. One of my favorites is how TricLED at the very beginning started with one of my very first project, which is the USA flag, which I really love. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed our little project here today with our Canyon. All right guys, so we've got everything tucked back. We got the seats back on. We've got our saddlebags back on, and everything's looking really good. Everything looks factory. Got our flag on. But you know, these side cases get some getting used to opening and closing. They're a little bit finicky to get on and off. There's a little trick to doing this, but one suggestion I have is when you do open this for the first time, sometimes it's really hard to latch. You just got to make sure that this section of the metal part always goes over that plastic piece, because if you try to close it and you're behind this plastic piece there, it just will not go down. So make sure you kind of push this down, and once you're over, then it closes really easy. The other thing also is that when you do open this bag and you take it off the rack, when you slide it back on, it's really tough to get it back on. So a good idea is maybe what I've done is I've sprayed some WD-40 just a little bit here and a little bit of WD-40 here, so that actually just slides on nice and easy, and you put it back on. And once I've done that, it actually just snaps right on pretty quick and easy. Before it was kind of giving me a hard time there, and now that we've got this thing latched, everything goes back really nice and smooth. So WD-40 does the trick with that. And just make sure this piece goes over that little plastic piece, and you'll get it on real nice and easy every single time. Same with this back one and with this one, but it's looking great. Now it's time to put on my temp tag and get this thing out for a ride. Still a bit chilly up here. Looks like this Indian spring hasn't warmed up quite yet this week, but we're gonna go out there and go ride. So anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Talk to you later. Bye.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you new content and innovative products.